This call is now being recorded.
Hey!
What's up? I went ahead and rebooted my phone, too. I was like, well, if he did his and it's not working, maybe it's me.
Yeah, because it was...
Maybe it's not him, it's me.
It might have been both. I don't know, because I went in there and, like, I relogged back into Google Voice, and it was like... It would like, I would answer the call, and I would hear the, call from, and I hear you say your name, and then, of course, I'm hitting 1 to answer. And it keeps saying, press 1 to answer, and I'm hitting 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. As I press 1 to answer, I'm like, damn it! And then, of course, it disconnects. I'm like, motherfucker!
Yeah.
And this time when I hit 1, it stopped mid-prompt, like, a call from, and I hit 1, and of course, it stopped, and it might be connected. So I hit 4, I'm like, oh, sweet, here we go. It's like, man, the hell?
Yes, sir. So how you been?
Man. Been fun. And, I'm on day 6, so I'm off. After tomorrow morning, I'm off till Monday afternoon, and then back at it again. So,
Oh, nice.
I'm tired.
You a little break.
It's a little breather. I basically go to sleep. I don't sleep a lot on Sunday because I try to spend as much of my day off as possible with the fam, and take care of stuff. Dealing with some stuff at home because the wife actually, her job that she's been at for 6 months, basically got fired yesterday.
Oh no, I hate to hear that.
Not for anything job related either. It's kind of weird. Like, it's one of those where, like, I guess she clock in on an app or something.
Mm-hmm.
So like she would get to work and she would clock in the parking lot as she's walking up to the building. And then she would badge in and come in and start doing her stuff because they don't have a time clock or anything. So, she would clock in, and then she'd come in. She'd been doing it this way the whole time, like clocking in as she's walking up, because once you get inside, you gotta immediately jump into what you gotta do because she's a sous chef. So she had to get things open and start getting things prepped and stuff like that. But they had her work her entire day, do all the full service and then clean up everything and whatever. And then they then they called her into the office and basically told her that, we have like a 0 tolerance policy for the time stuff because like you're more than a minute between when you clock in and when you badge in, and that's time theft and blah blah blah. And so we have to let you go. And she's like, what? Because they never talked to her about it. There was never any kind of like, don't clock in until you're in the building, because they're a caterer. She works for one company, but then they're catering for this business that they're at, pretty much.
I got you.
So she basically, and I was like, well, that sounds like bullshit,
I hate restaurants. I'd never work for one ever again.
Well, it's like I don't know what they do, because it's like a company called Multivac here in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they do, but basically the company Aaron worked for was the ones that fed him, pretty much. Like that's how they got like they had the little cafeteria area, whatever, and basically like it would prep all the food and feed all the people, whatever. And so she liked her job. She just didn't like she liked her boss by himself, but her coworker was kind of a bitch, and her coworker and her boss were pretty buddy, so they would go off and talk in the corner or whatever, and then if she talked to like a customer for 2 minutes, it would give her the stink eye, like you're like, if you have time to talk, you have time to clean. And she's like, or you shouldn't be on your phone while they're on their phone. And it's like, okay, like why am I getting lectured about this, but you guys do it? But I'm great. I'm glad kind of grateful I'm doing what I do because, her losing her job, like in the past, it would have stressed me out because it'd be, oh fuck, we're gonna struggle with like rent and apps, but where I'm at right now, like literally, like I get rent fully paid myself and, take care of the majority of I can pretty much take care of everything. She takes care of a couple of things because she likes to have her independence, she She's never like when we first moved up here and I was working right off the bat and she was applying to places but wasn't getting in anywhere. Her stress was she's like, I don't like having to ask you for money, like gas or whatever. And I'm like, I was like, I'll sometimes take her car anyway, just go and fill it up, do little stuff like that. But I was like, well, love, like, you know, it's not a big deal. Like, if you need something, you know, obviously we're in this together. But, you know, so basically, you know, did the, hey, don't stress about it, don't worry about it, like everything's going to be okay. You know, I got this while you're trying to look for stuff better because she had like an hour commute to work anyway, so when she was when, you know, I waited for her to get home before I left work yesterday. I saw on 360 that she was probably like 5 miles away. So I was like, all right. I was like, I'm waiting by the Silverado for you to get home so I can give you a hug before I take off. She was, all right, yeah, I'm almost there.
Hour to work, that's a good commute time right there.
Yeah, 45 minutes to an hour. It takes me 25 to get to my work, and then she's another 20, at least 20 to 30 further north than I was going. So decent benefits and stuff. I mean, it was pretty nice. Like, I think they got the holidays off, so they actually got paid for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So they had half the week that they didn't work. Whereas like me, I was just off on the holiday because of the fact that either we didn't have a load or my boss literally on like Christmas said, yeah, you know, they have a load for you at Christmas Eve, but I'm telling you to take the Christmas off. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll come in if you need me to come in, but you know, if you're telling me to take the day off, I would rather be home with the fans. You know, so Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day they had a run, but they gave me the choice. They said like they have a run that you know that needs to go to St. Louis, but it's not a big deal. It could actually be taken care of tomorrow, and so it's up to you. Like it won't penalize us if you want to hang out with the fam. He said I have a lot of guys that they're actually money hungry because their wives are working today anyway, so they want to actually be out working. And I'm like, well, my whole family is home, so like none of them were working. So I was like, I'll go, and I was sick too, you know. So with this not sleeping as much as I would like to, you know, I've gotten sick a couple times, but I'm trying to do what I can. I'm trying to get as much sleep as I can and try to, you know, I do mostly water. Like water and coffee are pretty much my two main drinks. Except for on my day off, then I do some adult beverages, you know, but.
Yeah, buddy. I can't have them no more.
Can't do them anymore, huh?
Nah, man, I got too many health issues. I haven't drank in, oh man, I can't remember the last time I had any kind of beer or whiskey or anything like that.
Gotta get you some Fireball, and I'm kidding.
No, definitely no Fireball, man. I did that one time, bro. Let me tell you.
That's stuff right there, man. That's a fun time, but that's a fun time while you're doing it. But then, you know.
No, man, I took the shot after it, man. Let me tell you, it was way too much.
I did the Fireball. I could do a shot of Fireball, even though like I'd rather mix it with stuff. You know, like Fireball with like I would. My go-to was Diet Dr. Pepper with Fireball. But I
remember when it first come out. Man, am I that old? Talking about first come out. Gee. I remember first come out, somebody brought it over to a place where I was staying at with a buddy. He'd always party and come over. And somebody brought it. And he was like, man, just try this. And I'm like, okay. I tried it back when I was still drinking. And, man, I took a shot. Let me tell you. Woo!
When did it come out? Because, I mean, I don't even know about that.
A long time ago, man. I can't believe how much time has passed since I've been in Michigan from Alabama, because it was before I moved to Michigan from Alabama. And, hell, it was my early 20s. Hell, I'm almost 40, so maybe 20 years or something ago.
Oh, gotcha. So, yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I'll be 40 this year in May.
I think it's February. I'll be 43. So I didn't know when it came out. I just knew that for quite a while I'd be like, oh, man, Fireball. Oh, my gosh. But there's other things I love, like margaritas, too. Like, oh, man. Love margaritas, but oh, shit.
I never really had one, man. I'll tell you what I like that I've had daiquiris once or twice, and that was pretty good.
Daiquiris are good, too. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because, like, I guess that's one there's multiple reasons why when I like early November before we got into holiday, what we call peak season here with FedEx, like when I got offered this run, because basically initially I was coming in like 2 a.m. and work basically getting home at like noon, 1 o'clock, up for a couple hours, go to bed by like 4 or 5, get like 7, 8 hours of sleep easily. Now it's like leave home at 3:30, get to the hub at 4:15. Over to Ladex between 5 and 5:30, and then out the door by 6-ish to go to St. Louis, and I'm back to Ladex by like 4 or 5 and home by 6 again. So it's like I basically get home, eat, sleep, get up, go back to work. but it's a 6-day week, and I thought, well, the miles are higher, so my paycheck went up a lot, and figured that would help with paying bills off and actually get us where we want to go. Because with my goal of eventually getting off the road, I know that I need to make shit happen first. Get out of debt, get savings, work on the passive side stuff, to build those. Eventually get books published, because I do have like books, like things written, like, for the most part, like 75%, 80% done that I just need to finish and then work on getting published. But of course, with the lack of time, like one day off, or actually not, like a 34-hour break really isn't a whole lot of time to accomplish much. But only one day off too. That's one less day that I'm drinking a week, because I would drink on my days off. So instead of 2 days, I would only been only drinking 1 day. And some Sundays, it's like, because I'm not getting very much or as much sleep as I want, or as much as I need. Sometimes I'll get the 4 drinks. I can get 2 of the tall 24-ounce like Mike starters, and then 2 of these smaller cans are like 12 ounces. They're like the screwdriver. They're like the carbonated, different kinds of drinks. Like there's the screwdriver, pina colada, the canned carbonated ones that have the different flavors, whatever. But they're like 8% alcohol, so it's like better than drinking a beer, but still not as bad as doing like shots, like whiskey or vodka or something. But always being tired, it doesn't take me much to feel it. So I might get 4 drinks. I might only do 2 or 3 before I'm like, I'm not doing the last one. I was like, I'm good. It's like where you're kind of like walking around the house going, I better stop.
Yeah. I remember back when when I first moved up here, man, I'd be working 6-7 days a week, like 14-hour days, and then I would drink like 2 beers and just be wasted. I'd be like falling right to sleep. I'm like, oh snap. And so it's it was crazy.
Yeah, because I mean, one good memory from my wife's former work is they did a Christmas party. I think I don't remember what day they did. I think they did it on it's like a Saturday, I think. And of course, I was like, I don't know if I can make it because I have to work. But of course, my wife automatically, if she had something planned, it was, can you talk to your manager? Talk to Rex and see if it's possible for him to have someone cover your load so that we could. I'm like, I was like, yeah, but I can't just not work. Like, yeah, you might be able to get someone to cover it. And he's pretty good. Like, if I have a family thing, is it possible? Back in Nashville, it never would have happened because he was never like it. I would always work unless FedEx actually didn't have a load. So if they had a load, even though like on holidays, like I think I ran on New Year's Day and Christmas one year. Because my manager messaged me like last minute, like Christmas Eve. Oh, by the way, I stand corrected. Like I know I told you you're gonna have New Year's Day, Christmas Day off, but unfortunately they do have a trailer that needs to run. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because like literally, I made plans with the fam. Like I'm home on the holiday. Like we're literally, we're home hanging out. We went to Christmas service, whatever. And he's like, I'm sorry, but it has to go. And I'm like. I was like, Jamie, you're a fucking dick. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, you're home with the fam because you're quote unquote managing. Like you're at home basically managing your drivers. So it's like versus like my manager up here, he'll actually like I've run into him once or twice. So I had to stop by we have an office that's like 2 blocks away from the FedEx Hub. They actually have a location up here, so it's like that's pretty cool to have an actual like Spartan Logistics office. or whatever. That you go in there, there's like a pool table. They have like some recliner chairs. They have a big screen TV, and they got like a bathroom and shower in there. And we're basically told to help ourselves to whatever's in the fridge because they'll load it up with like snacks and drinks and stuff like that. And, cool. Not alcoholic, obviously, like sodas and waters and stuff like that. But I rarely ever go over there. I think I went over there once because I have to zip tie the locks on these trailers because of their container, the rail yard container trailers. So they got like locks on all four corners to connect the container to the trailer chassis or whatever. And so we have to zip tie those to make sure that they stay closed, because otherwise, if they pop open when you're going down the road, you could like hit a bump and have your entire trailer container just like come off the frame, and really not be a very good situation. But I ran out of zip ties, so I had to go on my way in. I was like texting him, "Hey Rex, are you like do you guys happen to have any packs of zip ties laying around the office?" "Yeah, I have a pack in my truck." I was like, "Okay, are you up there right now?" He goes, "Yep, I'm here." "All right, cool. I'll be right there in a couple of minutes." So, like, I'll pop into the office, and he'll actually be there on the computer or whatever, because, he's probably checking up on seeing how drivers are doing and making sure people are out there on their loads if they got to be out there. But my other manager is basically at home, with his wife or whatever, and he would call us at the last minute to expect us to just up and head into the hub, and I'm like, and even on my days off, too. Like, when I was off Sunday, Monday, back there in Nashville, I would get off on Sunday, go to sleep, wake up later on Sunday, like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and then I'd be kind of up and about hanging out with the fam, because it's like, "Oh, cool, I'm off tonight, tomorrow." Sunday night, I would get a text, or either a text or he'd try to call me, like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, saying, "Hey, they have a run going to Knoxville. If you answered the phone and they would penalize you. Like, they penalize the contractors. If they call them and they answer and they say, 'Hey, we have a run, this trailer, blah, blah, blah,' if the contractor says no, they actually get penalized for it. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't have hours to run, if they legally cannot run, but they say, 'Yeah, I don't have hours,' they'll penalize them, say they got a refusal, like a denial or whatever. Yeah. So I kind of had this little kind of like a system, like a method, or a little method to my madness, where I would basically just not answer the calls, or not open the text messages so it wouldn't show that I read them. Yeah. Where you can scroll down from the top to kind of like read what it says without actually opening it. Yeah. So I would do that and be like, "Oh, fuck that, I'm not," And so I think I ran into one contractor. Thought he was a regular driver, but I guess he was the actual owner of the company or whatever, of this other company, and we're both fueling at the hub, and we started talking about, like, because it was a holiday that we're both there, and I was like, "Yeah, like, fucking ridiculous, like, I was actually home with the family when I got called in." He's like, "Yeah, they, like, I actually own this company, and they called me, and basically, like, I had to, I didn't want to get a refusal, so I went ahead and accepted and came in and ran this load," and I said, "You know what you got to do?" He's like, "Well," I was like, "Don't answer the phone." He's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, if they don't get you on the phone, they can't say that you refuse. Oh, wow. Talk to you. He goes, "Oh, shit, I didn't even think about that." I was like, "Yeah, man. Like, if you don't want to do it, don't answer the call. Don't read the text. Don't, just basically act like, 'Oh, I was asleep. Sorry.'" Because it happened so often with my last boss that I would pull the, "Sorry, man." I respond to him later on in the day, like when I was, "Hey, man, so sorry, like, phone was off, or, I was asleep, so I didn't get your message or whatever. So I apologize." "Oh, no worries. It's all good. Got it covered." Because, like, you gotta, hold on to whatever time off you can. Cause, like, yeah.
As a truck driver, you don't get much.
Nope. And it's already dangerous enough out here without us being overly tired and overly stressed. Yeah. Cause, hell, last night I had fun because we had some weather come through, like a little bit of a snowstorm, whatever. I hit it on my way into Kansas City with the Silverado, and so I was like, "Fuck, tonight's gonna be fun," because we're talking like it got dark really quick, the wind was really high, and I started seeing really big flurries really quick, and I was like, "Oh man," I was like, I hope I don't have an issue tonight." And to the point where you saw like flocks of birds were like hightailing it, out of the city or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, they're running away. But I made it all the way to St. Louis without any issues. Like it was literally clear of the entire way. So I thought, okay, cool, maybe that storm was going north. Like maybe I got out of it, But then on my way back, I got halfway back to Kansas City, and then I hit whiteout conditions. It's like the road was white, you could see what lane you're in. You can kind of see the center lines. It's kind of how I was able to. I kept the speed up still because the way I was like up. You start to hit weather, I usually would try to push it as much as possible, and I'll try to go as fast as I can, safely, of course, to try to push through it. Because then, obviously, like if you just stop, then you're probably just gonna sit in that weather for a while. But the way I do it, I try to make my way through it, and then once you get through it, then all right, cool, bump the cruise back up again and keep going. But I had a truck when we were coming up the curve, and I had a truck pass me. And when they pass me, or how it is, like when you're on like this snow-covered road, anybody that passes you, they're kicking up a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
When he passed me, all of a sudden I was in a big white cloud. I couldn't see anything. Like I could see my hood, I couldn't see anything else. And we're going around a curve, so I immediately realized, oh shit, because I started to feel the ridges, because when it curved, I started to kind of go off. I realized I was going off the road because I couldn't see outside the windshield, so I was immediately slowing down going, whoa, shit. It's like, okay. And then of course it cleared, and I was able to see the road again. I was like, oh damn, you almost killed me, man.
Yeah. Man, we've had some bad roads here up in Michigan here the past couple of days. Apparently we run out of snow or not snow, but salt, or been low on the salt, and and so it's roads have been kind of crappy. And so I'm glad it's getting a little bit better. I can't wait till I can get back out and walk again, man. The weather's been so rigid and everything else that I've had to walk in the basement, man. It's just back and forth. I've been basically working out, and then while I work out, basically just walking in between the sets and doing that. But man, I want to get back outside and be able to walk. It's just it's either been raining, snowing, or way too cold. Like I was standing at the bus stop waiting for my daughter to get home, and the bus was an hour late, freezing, but there's like a little hill, a little slope on one of the roads where a lot of people try to cut from one road to basically make like a shortcut to go to another one. And they would try to come through that, and they'd go up through that little cut and up that. Man, so many people got stuck. One guy did a 180 and basically almost hit the stop sign there, but ended up having to go back. But trucks were getting stuck. One of the parents who was coming to pick up their kid ended up parked in the snow on the side of the road and got stuck there.
Man.
But yeah, it's been a mess up here. It's just been too because normally I was walking there for a little bit, and then basically it just the roads got too bad, temperature got too cold, and so.
Well, you don't want to walk in 10-degree temp?
Hell no. Well, it wouldn't be that bad. But no, I don't want to. It's funny because I was walking one night and I'm like, yeah, it's in the teens. I'm going to come out here and walk. Yeah, it's not that bad. Shit, 30 minutes in, I'm like, I'm over there like, I don't want to finish this hour walk, I finished it. My hands were freezing. All my snot and everything, made icicles, from my beard or whatever. And so I'm like, geez, walking in 10 degrees weather sucks.
When it's that cold, it's like if you're out and about doing cardio when it's that cold, if a weigh station's closed, I'm like, hey, cool. Because when it's open, they're calling everybody in there. So it's like, I'm always going in there going, please don't inspect me.
Yeah, DOT will get you for not running by a weigh station, won't they? If it's open?
Most of the time, yeah. If it's open, it's like I've accidentally passed them in the past, not this one, but like weigh stations in general.
Yeah.
But like you can go buy them, and it is it is a risk. But now if you have DriveWise or whatever, and it gives you the bypass even if it's open, then you could go buy it, and legally if they pull you over, you could be like, hey, I got the bypass, and said to go buy it. So, but
Yeah. Oh, so you just pay for something and then it's like, oh, pay money and it'll, you know.
When it was
Or
brand
nah,
new,
I don't know what that is.
DriveWise is when they first came out, it was just an app, but
yeah.
they were connecting they were slowly connected to a lot of the different way stations, and so it was one that only drivers. It was something like that we would pay for a service ourselves.
Yeah.
We would get this. We'd have it on our phone, and then we'd turn it on like before we're obviously driving to make it. And so like it would be active, and we'd be going down the road. If we got the bypass on our phone on DriveWise, we could go buy it. But now it's become so big that a lot of carriers actually they have that implemented in their truck computers anyway. So like we have DriveWise on the truck computers, and we're not paying for it ourselves. Our the employer is and whatever. So because what they used to do for like being able to bypass is you had like the pre-pass, like the toll little transponder thing up in the window.
Yeah.
And so like if you got the bypass, that thing would either flash red or green. So if it flashed red, that was telling you had to go in. But if it flashed green, then then you're able to go buy it. But now it's like everything's going DriveWise, so that's awesome. But I've had it before where I accidentally passed a way station not realizing it, and within 2 minutes, I had a cop literally right beside me, lights on, literally giving me the thumb, telling me to go off to the side. Oh shit!
Man.
I was like, oh, you realize you passed the way station, right? Oh, I did. Yeah, I realize that now. I was like, when I
See,
passed
what happened was
yeah. I mean, I was in the right lane when I passed it, but of course, when the cop pulled me over, I basically was like, oh yeah, I had barely I was trying to pass another vehicle, and I didn't realize until it was too late that I was going by the way station. He was, oh okay. So I mean, I got a ticket for it. It was like $50, but then of course, like within 20 minutes, I'm getting a call from like a driver manager with that carrier I was with. Oh yeah. So we got this notification from Georgia DOT or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, it was an accident. Okay, let's try not to do that again. Yes, sir. I was like, I didn't do it on purpose. It's like, it's kind of happened, don't worry, but on this route, I've only got one. There's that one way station, it's that first one, that sometimes is open, and, they'll pull everybody in, and of course, like, I never weigh the truck, because FedEx loads are usually whatever, like, heavy, so it's like, more, like, I've never had to go up on a scale and, oh, you're overweight. So usually 99.9% of the time you go on a scale and basically you get the green light, say go ahead and exit. Like, all right, cool. Had one time they told me to go ahead and park. I was out in Kentucky, north of Tennessee. Like, went into one and got up on the scale and they said, yeah, pull around back and for an inspection. Oh crap! So I was like, oh great. Flash your lights, honk your horn. They get underneath and check your brakes, I was where I was like, I had a trailer, they were like, hey, where's your registration on your trailer? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I was like, I just picked it up. So it's like, oh, well, we need the registration on the trailer. I'm like, I've never been asked for that. So then I'm on the phone with my manager at the time being like, hey, where's the registration on the trailers? Oh, check the metal box in the front. Yeah, it's not there. They have a little plastic box apparently on the back of a license plate that has the registration paper folded up nice and neat in there in a little baggie, and it's sealed in that. I didn't know that. I've never, that was kind of. I was walking around the trailer looking everywhere I could think of, and I saw that little plastic square box, and I popped that open and was like, oh, here it is. I was like, huh. I was like, that's interesting. He's all right. You're good to go. Like, sometimes I think they just inspect because they're bored. They want things to do.
Yeah. Or maybe they just don't like their life. Man, so I worked for a landfill back when I lived in Alabama. And truck drivers come in there all the time. The majority of what our business was, you know, people coming in from different companies like Waste Management, Kimberly-Clark. And so you'd have roll-off trucks. You'd have the tractor trailers pulling like 30, 40-yard trailers behind them. And they would always complain about this woman they called the Dragon Lady. They called her the Dragon Lady. Man, she would pull them over and stop. She was hitting everybody for everything, man. Everybody hated her back there in Mobile, Alabama. The old Dragon Lady. I don't know her name. That's what they called her, Dragon Lady. And my buddy, he drove truck, but I'd be driving with him or riding with him in his car. Man, he could spot DOT everywhere. He would just, and then he told me one time, he goes, driving a regular vehicle don't even feel right. I've been driving the truck for so long, a minute all the time, that when I get and drive a regular vehicle, it just don't feel the same. It don't feel right.
Yeah. There was I have a couple friends up in the PA or whatever. Most of them, like a couple of them I still chat with. They're on the Raw Chat episodes, you know, Dave or whatever, because he's still out and about trucking. One of the friends was a fuel desk worker at the Schneider terminal in Carlisle, PA. And, you know, so we would chat every so often and stuff, because she was, like I'd be out, of course, be married, but I'd be out and about, you know, have to do 34 sometimes up there near where she was. And she didn't have anything going on, wasn't dating anybody, whatever, so every so often if I was up there, I'd be like, hey, I'm in the area, do you want to meet up just to hang out and, you know, go grab a few beers or whatever on my 34-hour break or whatever, you know. And she's like, yeah, let's go to this bar and grill, whatever. I was told you know, one of those just hang out and chill kind of thing. But, they just had one of those moments, man, where like mid-sentence you're like, man, my mind is blank. Man, I'm getting old. Oh, I remember what it was, but we were at the bar and grill, and she had another friend show up. You know, and so we're sitting there, the three of us, whatever. Me and this other dude this guy was, he's one of those that like literally you talk to him and you're like, you know, out of being polite, you're interacting and stuff, but you're thinking this guy's fucked up. It's like he's kind of weird. You know, like this guy's kind of scary. The things he's talking about, he loves to do, whatever. Like, oh, okay, you know. But this guy talked about he got off work and he got his pickup truck. Or he made it back for his weekend off or something. Got his pickup truck, and he was heading home. And with his pickup truck, he pulled into the way station. And he pulled up on the scale in his Dodge Ram or whatever he was driving. Pulls up to the front of the scale, you know, watching the lights or whatever. And over the intercom, he hears a little chuckle. He goes, yeah, you're a good driver.
So he pulled up in his not knowing that he was in his personal vehicle, huh?
Yep, he pulled up there automatically because he's, you know, used to pull in the way station, but he was in his little truck.
That's so funny.
That's so funny. Shit, I'm sorry. It's all good, man. It's all good. Go ahead. Have a good day. Yes, you too, sir. Sorry about that.
That's funny. Hell, I didn't know that you had to pull over in way stations in U-Haul trucks. If you get a big U-Haul truck, like the big ones, you have to pull into way stations and weigh.
Only if you're commercial. Like if you're hauling for private, you don't have to.
We had to stop. So we were traveling from Washington to Alabama. I was helping my buddy move, and we had to hit way stations. And this is the same truck driver I was telling you who I'm trying to think. What was you just talking about, being old and forgetting what we was going to say? Anyways, we were doing something, and we had the biggest U-Haul truck you could get. We loaded that thing up, man, so much. And I remember us stopping at a way station. We had to stop. Like it was one that you couldn't pass if you was driving a certain vehicle with something. I'm like, me being like that, and so, like, I would have never known that it counted for as me. But there was a way station coming from somewhere that if you was in a certain vehicle, meaning like the U-Haul size, you had to stop and get weighed. And it's funny, though, because on that trip, that's when I started, again, talking to the woman that I'm now married to. We was talking back and forth on the phone for a little bit, and then I quit playing the game. Well, no, we was talking through a game, like one of them phone games. And then, on that trip, she happened to get back in touch with me. And then, what's so funny too, before she messaged me on that trip, we were going through some country areas or whatever, and that's when that Farmers Only had come out, and I'm like, I'm gonna get on farmersonly.com and just make like a funny profile on there. And then it wouldn't go, I forget what happened, but like me doing the thing wouldn't go through it. And then she ended up messaging me, and then me and her started chatting through it, and then we're now married. And we'll see whether or not we stay married or not in the future.
Yep.
I'm actually, I know we ain't talked in a good minute, but I'm actually going to be starting massage therapy school in April.
Yeah, I was just looking up about the U-Haul thing, and I guess it says it depends on the state, but typically you don't have to weigh unless you're doing commercial, like if you're hauling for commercial reasons. So like private, if you're hauling, you're moving your own shit, then you're not required to pull in there. But I guess it would depend on the state. Like some officers might be dicks, be like, you're supposed to pull in. They're like, officer, I'm not making money on this load. I'm literally hauling my own shit.
Yeah.
So I guess it just depends. So massage therapy school, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, massage therapy school. I'm gonna start it in April, unless something happens to where I can't. But the plan and goal is to start in April, and
sweet.
Basically go and become a massage therapist.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, if you open your own clinic, that's actually a field you could make a lot of money in.
Yeah.
I've known a couple that actually had their own business, and they drove like Corvettes or whatever, and I'm like, I would be fine just driving my own truck, my regular truck, even if I had, millions or was rich or whatever. I'd be like, I've never wanted to have like a, man. I mean, I wouldn't care about a big house, I wouldn't mind, but I just want to be comfortable, have the things that we need, and I don't really care to be flashy or fancy.
Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, it's like I try to tell my wife. Like my wife's not like she likes big and flashy, or like she likes vacationing and stuff. I'm just a simple man. I'm just an old country boy. I'm just a simple man. I don't need a mansion. I don't need a Porsche. Give me a truck. Give me a 4-wheel drive pickup truck with a bed.
Yep.
A house. I wouldn't care if I lived in a trailer, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, I would want a nice little fishing boat. Give me like a little aluminum flatbed boat, something I can go back in the river in, get some of them places you can't get in one of them fancy bass boats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, I'd spend some time out there on the water. Yeah. Hell, man. I mean, having nice things ain't that bad, but, as far as having portions and stuff. But from what I'm seeing though is like, if you can make it full time, if you get a full-time job, from what I'm reading and looking at the job online in the state, Michigan and stuff, you'd be bringing around 50 to 60 grand a year.
Yeah, it's not bad.
No. No, they say, well, I've been looking at the job things. They say they range from like $28 to $50 an hour. So, and I'm going to try to, learn as much as I can. So I know this school teaches certain stuff, but I might go to a different place afterwards and, learn other things. Maybe I can learn, like now, hell, I don't forget the name of it, where you put the needles in people's body and stuff. Acupuncture.
Oh,
and so just try to learn all the parts of that craft. And I'm good with my hands. I've been giving the wife massages here lately, either every day or every other day, trying to prepare my hands for it. Because, man, I tell you what, if you're not used to giving massages, man, it wears your hand muscles down like crazy. Like I have a strong grip. I have strong hands. I have really strong forearms and stuff. And let me tell you though, I don't know if it's something about your hand muscles, man. It has nothing to do really with the forearm. I mean, I can give the deep massages, but you got to strengthen your hands because it's also, you got to have endurance. You got to think, you can be doing it for an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours at a time. And then, depending on how many times you do it, cause the massage things ranges from 30 minutes to an hour, an hour and a half. I don't know if there's a 2 hour session or not, but I know the sessions for sure is 30 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour and a half. And it's something like I got to strengthen up my hand muscles. I got to find a way. Or maybe I'm just not doing the techniques right. And so, but I've been trying that. My wife is in supply chain.
Oh, gotcha.
And so she is a supply chain planner. She does forecasting and stuff. So she basically tries to predict how much stock will be needed, based on
like logistics type stuff.
Yeah, based on previous orders, the last year's orders, how everything's going, and then tries to make sure all the parts are ordered. She's getting she's doing her last classes, so she'll be graduated and have her MBA or master's in business this year. She'll be graduating in May or something.
Oh, sweet.
So I'll be going to school when she's getting out of it. I'll be going in April. She'll be getting out in May. And so it's only mine's only a 9-month program though. And so, basically, I'll just, start in April. I'll be going 4 times a week, 2 at the college, and then 2 days at home online. It'll be from 8 to 2, so 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm excited about it. I'm thinking from what I'm doing so far with the wife, I believe that I'm good with my hands. I think I'll enjoy being a massage therapist.
Well, that's good. It's good to get into something that passionate about versus like just get into something because of the money. Like my parents were pushing for me for a while to get into nursing because my mom's a nurse, or my mom was a nurse before she retired.
Yeah.
She was one of the high end ones, one of the nurse anesthetists that would do like the anesthesia when you're for like labor and delivery and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she did that for probably 30 or 40 years, and they were always, they wanted their kids to follow their same path or whatever. So it was always, you should go into nursing. And I'm like, I tried, but I kind of started a nursing program at a college way back, And I went through a couple of the classes, and I was just not feeling it. You know, it was just like, this is not a career that I want to go into. This is a career that I'm going into because my mom thinks I should go into it. But did that for a little while, and then kind of like, yeah, you know, I'm just not going to. I just backed away from it. It's like when I got my degree in hospitality with University of Phoenix, I started to do a business degree because it was like an associate in hospitality. Because one of my dreams has always been to either open my own apartment complex or my own hotel. But then, you know, way back when I was going through that degree, when I got off the road for a little bit, you know, I applied to apartment complexes to be like one of the leasing people, you know, that would show you the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been interviewed at hotels, and I kept running into the same issue where they quote unquote require experience. And I didn't have experience. I was trying to get in, but it's like my argument with them was like, yeah, well, I mean, you sound great, you're a great candidate, but unfortunately, you don't have any experience, and we really look for somebody with experience. I'm like, well, how do I get experience if nobody will hire me because I don't have experience? Well, unfortunately, that's not our problem, but, you know, we wish you the best. I'm like, okay, well, you know, fuck you too, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, either apartment or hotel, or hell, I'd even be willing to open a truck stop, you know, find a area that has lots of land and basically bring in my own, because there's always a shortage of parking for drivers out here, so it's like I would find some big-ass area and, you know, either bring in either one of the name brand ones like Petra or Love's or Flying J or something, and have there be 400 or 500 spaces for truckers to park, and then like a 24-hour, you know, some restaurant or something that would be 24 hours, so that way, especially because of me having work nights myself, I really appreciate when, you know, I stop somewhere, like, it's usually like Flying J's and Pilots, a lot of times those places, the restaurants are there closed at like 10 or something. But then you go to Love's and they'll have like Arby's or Hardee's or sometimes McDonald's, and a lot of times at those places they're literally open all night, so you can get in there at like 3 a.m. and actually still be able to get a burger and fries or whatever. So I try to. That's the one, you know, when. The idea of bringing food out here with me, because I thought about doing those prepared meals too, like Factor or whatever, like ordering those and having those in the freezer, basically bringing one of those out with me and then heating it up in St. Louis. But problem is, like, yeah, it takes 30 minutes when I get to St. Louis because you have to log to a different status on your computer, so that way you can get some time back after 30 minutes. It's like technically taking like a 30-minute break, but on that break, you're on yard move status, which basically you can still move around the yard and do stuff. It's just not counting against your drive time. And it counts against your break, or counts towards your break. So during that 30 minutes, I'm dropping my loaded trailer that I came in with. I'm finding my loaded trailer they're sending me back with. I'm getting hooked up, and then you got to, you know, grab the zip ties and, you know, secure all the locks, get yourself dispatched, take all the photos, whatever. So it's like, for a little while on this load, I thought about, hey, I should bring a meal down there with me, so that way I can just heat it up in St. Louis, and that way I'll eat there instead of grabbing coffee and food at Love's, like I currently do. Usually I'm at the halfway point between St. Louis and Kansas City. But because of how it's not like 30 minutes that I just have off that I'm sitting there still, I've been like, I just do what I currently do. I stop at Love's and I'll fuel if I have to get fuel. I'll go in there and fill my coffee mug up and go into the Hardee's. There's one that has Hardee's and there's one that has Arby's. It's a little bit closer to St. Louis, so like most of the time I hit the one with Hardee's because, you know, the meals there obviously like it's a little bit cheaper than if I get like what I want to get at Arby's. Might be like $13 at Hardee's versus like $20 if I could get like a French dip, curly fries, and like cheese sticks or something. It'll easily be $20, and I'm like so used to paying 13 that on the occasion where I pay 20, I look at the total. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, oh, okay. He's yeah. Your French dip was $8, and this was this buck. I'm like, oh, okay. All I know is fine. I just, you know, I'm just so used to paying, you know, what I pay at Hardee's, you know, and then you pay $20 one time for a meal. And you're like, oh, fuck. All right, I can't do that twice.
Yeah.
Because you budget for the week, so that way you can make sure that by 6 days I can stop and, you know, I I do get 2 candy bars typically, like one for when I'm going to St. Louis and one for the way
Mm-hmm.
back. But other than that, I don't really snack on anything else, and I'm just drinking water. So like my weight has still actually been doing what I'm doing. I haven't really changed anything up, and I've noticed the scale has been dropping. You know, it's still coming down gradually.
Nice.
It's like it was 350 for so long, and then I was doing this run, and I was starting to notice that like the numbers were less. And it's great when you're not actually like. You're deliberately eating less or anything. You're just, you try to like drink more water.
Mm-hmm.
Because I used to do a lot more. Still do the unsweet tea with like lemonade stuff. So you're drinking some sugary beverages a little bit, but now it's like I went basically within the past month and a half, kind of started just focusing more on water. So I haven't really been using my 54-ounce Loves mug.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been getting these 50-ounce water bottles that are. You get like 100 ounces between the two, but they're still small enough that you can still put them in the cup holder. They're not too big for it. So it's like 100 ounces of water with me out here and then drinking water when I'm home. And I think I might be in the upper 320s now, because
Nice.
by the time I start my week, usually I go ahead and step on the scale to see where I'm at. And I never know, that's the one thing too, I never know what time of day is best to step on the scale, because you'll step on the scale one day and you'll see, oh, cool, I'm like 332, awesome. But then you step on the scale a different day, like a day or two later, it's at 334, 335.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, so I've been trying to do it roughly around the same time of day, whenever I do it, so that way it's like maybe,
Well, so this is the thing about weight. I know a comedian made a joke about it, but the truth about weighing, the time you want to weigh to get your lowest weight that you'll have for that day is in the morning after you use the bathroom, like when you first get up. So basically wake up. If you can't use number 2, then just use number 1. Use whatever bathroom you can. And then basically,
and then weigh right after.
And then weigh right after. Reason why it is anything you put in your body is going to add weight to it. So if you're drinking a gallon of water, you're automatically going to put like 6 to 8. I forget how much a pound of water weighs. I mean, a gallon of water, not a pound. So like if a gallon of water is either 6 or 8 pounds, if you drink that whole gallon of water, you're going to have to, you're going to gain 8 pounds. So when you wake up in the morning, if you get a good night's sleep, your body will have been able to rest, digest, do everything it needs to do. And then when you wake up, whatever, you using the bathroom and everything will allow you to drop some ounces to a pound or so, of food. Like I'll give you an example. I weighed one morning and then, I lost like 2 pounds. And then I went and I did like a 2 or 3 hour exercise, but I didn't eat anything. I fasted. I drank a little bit of water. But because I sweated so much, I weighed myself after my workout and I lost 3 pounds. And so you carry a lot of water weight. If you're wanting the best way to have a consistent weight would be weigh first thing in the morning after you go to the bathroom. If not, it's like this. So say one day you eat kind of light, you drink kind of light, you're not having much, and then, let's say you weigh 320. And then if you go back and the next day, before you go to weigh, you eat and drink a good, say you decided to eat a bigger meal and drink a good bit of water at that time. You're going to actually weigh more than what you did on the day before, or you might weigh the same instead of having like any kind of weight loss or anything.
Yeah, I got you. That makes sense.
And so,
it's funny, the scale that we have is one of those smart scales that has the app that you can like track it. So like,
yeah.
When I've been meaning to open up that app to log back in and before I step on the scale again, because it'll you step on it and when it shows the weight processing or whatever, all of a sudden your app will show the little bloop, loading, and then it'll show your weight. It'll show what you came down from before, and it's gonna be like you lost 20 pounds in like one set because
Oh.
Be from like 350 to around 330. Actually, that's why I was surprised the last time I stepped on it, because I was like low 330s, kind of hovering there, when I last did it like a week or so back. And then recently when I stepped on it, it was like literally right before going to bed, came in there, bathroom, shower, or whatever, before going to bed, whatever. Especially with this, like, as cold as it is, like, I should have gone right to bed this morning, because of not really having enough time to really get a lot of sleep. But I was like, it's fucking cold. I need a hot shower before bed, because otherwise I'm going to get in bed and be like, probably not get to sleep for a minute, because I'm going to be in there with teeth chattering, even under the covers while I'm warming up. So it's like, I love to, on these cold days, it's like nice to, scalding hot shower for about 20 minutes or whatever before getting out and be like, all right, cool. Now I can get in bed. I'm not like cold.
Yeah.
But I got on the scale and it was like, it didn't even hit 330. It was like upper 320s, like 328, 329. I was like, really? Cool. So it's like, and I'm not doing anything different or anything special. I think the big change for me is mainly I'm focusing as much on water as I am.
Yeah.
And not doing sugary beverages. I mean, yeah, I still do I get like, basically I'll fill my coffee mug up. And I do it at Love's because of the fact that I fuel so much there. Literally, I'm at, you get like these reward points at different levels. So because I fuel so many gallons, I'm on diamond status. And so like platinum and diamond, you basically have free refills, like unlimited refills on like your cold beverage or hot beverage. So it's like I can come in there with the fam and probably have all of us refill a mug and basically use my Love's card and probably get them all free, which they charge like $3 for a drink. So it's like, over the course of the week, man, that's $15 that I'm not paying to fill my coffee mug up. And so I'll have to scan my card to use one of the credits for the coffee, and then I'll have like, been doing Mr. Good bars lately. The chocolate that kind of look like Reese's or the Hershey bar, but they have peanuts in them.
Yeah.
And so I do one of those and a bag of a regular size bag of the peanut M&Ms. So I'll do the peanut M&Ms. After I eat my Hardee's food, as I'm continuing to St. Louis, and then with Hardee's, I get like, I kind of switch it up because, it's always the same stuff, so I might get, I don't always want to get the same thing because you get tired either a burger all the time or chicken tenders, so it's like, I never tried the chicken sandwiches up until the past like week or two, because I always thought that the chicken sandwiches that they were probably using their chicken tenders for the sandwiches, because I've known some restaurants that do that. It'll be, it's technically a chicken sandwich, but they're using their tenders on it instead of an actual like chicken breast, But randomly trying to change it up, still wanting to get something to eat. Obviously, I was like, what chicken sandwich do you guys have? Do you guys recommend? It's like, well, they're all good. The National Hot one's really good, but the BLT one's pretty good too. I was like, I'll try the BLT. And then it was actually a chicken breast. It wasn't like the individual tenders on the sandwich. It was an actual breaded, fried chicken breast with all the bacon and lettuce, tomato, whatever, and mayo. And I was like, kind of hesitant. Sometimes the tenders themselves, when you do those, can be kind of sketchy sometimes. Like they, might be soggy, or maybe they've been sitting out for a minute. But I got this sandwich, and I was like, oh damn, that's actually really good. I was like, okay, so. But I get those whatever on, I don't get a drink because I'm just doing water. But I get the sandwich or the tenders, the fries, and then I get like two of their apple pies. So like, eat the food, and then I might do the M&Ms, before I get to St. Louis, while drinking the coffee and water and stuff. And then like on my way back, because I try not to. I try to literally push it from St. Louis all the way back to Lenexa without stopping. I just do the 250 miles all in one hit. So then I got the Mr. Good bar, and I've got the 2 apple pies that I spaced out in that 4 or 5 hour window on my way back to kind of, so that way I'm not like get to a point where I'm like, oh man, I need to stop. I need to grab something. But
yeah, man, my diet's been so strict. It's hell, it's kind of like I don't even know if I should be eating that. Like when we go to eat out at places, it's everything is just nothing really that I can eat. And so I have to stick with a salad, or Like, I shouldn't even have steaks at times, but as long as I don't have steak, if I eat it once or twice a month, it ain't really that bad. But, like, it's crazy trying to eat out when you have so many diet restrictions. You know, and I guess it's part of the reason I've been so healthy for so, long is a lot of things isn't about weight loss. It's about, like, I have so many health conditions that it's like, it's slowly eating, like, I have GERD, I have, heart disease, I have diabetes, I have so many things wrong with me that.
And your
like
diabetes, you got type 1, right? Where you got to do the shots or whatever.
Yeah, I'm type 1, yeah. And so, but even with like, the cardiovascular and, the GERD as well, like I can't eat oranges, I have bad GERD, like it's not just, people eat what they want and they're like, oh, I have heartburn, and, like mine, depending on what I eat, man, when I go to sleep at night, I'll literally be drowning my own vomit, bro. It's,
man.
Yeah, and so, that's why the life has been so rough. Part of the reason why the wife was wanting to leave me is because she just got tired of me. She got tired of seeing me basically just, I guess, not care about my health. Hell, I don't know.
Damn. How's that going? It seems like things are going better between you, though.
Yeah. It's one of them things that, it's, we're trying to make it work, but whether it'll work out or not, don't know.
Well, I know, it takes two, obviously, because the thing I ran into with my ex-wife is, when it came down to it, because, towards the end, basically, I was always the one making the efforts, she was, we worked at this, up there in Montana, we worked at this, dental office that had been turned into a call center.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were, I was customer service in one side of the building, and she was off on another side of the building. She was tech support. And then they had, of course, programming on one side and sales in a different area. And I guess I think I was customer service and sales, so I was trying to, answer questions and then try to talk people into, buying a pack or buying because it was audio, video, web
Mm-hmm.
streaming or whatever. So basically we had these different plans they could buy, whatever, so many gigs or whatever. Back in the early 2000s, 2004, 2005-ish, So, but we had to use our own computers. We had our personal desktops.
Yeah.
At the office. That's what we were using for our work. And then the whole office was big on World of Warcraft. So, I had never heard of it. I never played it, whatever. And then we started working there, and of course they got us both into World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
Which, so we'd work our shift, and every time when any of us would get off work, because we had different shifts. I think I worked at 6 a.m. till 2, and my wife at the time came in. I think she came in mid-morning, 10 a.m. and she worked till 7. So she worked 5 hours later than I did. But so we get online after working and play World of Warcraft, and we all we do a little quest together. Or whatever. So it's a very addicting game. If you let yourself, you can literally be oh my god, I gotta play World of Warcraft 24/7. Oh my gosh, trying to build your character up and whatever. But it got to a point where hers and my marriage was just kind of on the rocks. I was trying to work things out with try to do romantic dinners, plan date nights, or whatever. And she was just basically flat out ignoring me. I'd be hey, I've got, some plans tonight, a surprise, can you please come home when you're right off work, because I'm, making a special dinner for us, and try to make it special. Oh, yeah, of course. So, I would go all out, make the country fried steak, you get the cube steaks, batter them in egg,
Mm-hmm.
flour, mashed potatoes, corn, gravy. I would have, wine, got roses, try to go all out, try to be, and I would literally have dinner And it's not a like a quick dinner to make either. It takes quite a while to do all that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So like I would have so I'd have everything ready to go and done, and you know, her plate on the table, my plate there, candles lit, whatever, and of course I'd be waiting, and I'm like texting going, "Are you coming home by any chance?" And she's like, "Oh no, I'm figuring I'm gonna get online and you know, on World of Warcraft with the rest of the office workers, and I'll be home later." Okay, you know, so I would basically, you know, I'd go ahead, eat, you know, drink both our glasses of wine, and you know, put food away, clean everything up, and go to bed, because it was like, well, crap, all right, you know, so, but it got to a point where I actually, it was kind of, there's a couple, you know, when you have like past relationships, there's a couple of spots that broke the back. It wasn't just one thing, there was like multiple things that kind of worked their way there. Like we had planned for a year to go, see my brother get married to his now second ex-wife, because since he was getting remarried, of course he has since cheated on her, and she basically said, "Fuck you," and divorced him. But we had planned for a year, like it was one of those where they scheduled the wedding for a long time out. So we, you know, we're making this plan. It was on the calendar. The day before we were supposed to go, all of a sudden she comes to me like sobbing, like, "I don't want to go." What? She goes, "Yeah, can you go without me?" And I'm like, "Do you want me to?" Because it was like a 400-mile trip from like where we were in Montana to Seattle to go, you know, stay with my brother and see them get married or whatever. The whole family was going to show up there, like my parents, my uncle, whatever. We're all making the trip, and so I kind of was pissed that the night before she's telling me like she doesn't want to go because your family hates me, blah blah blah. I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go by myself. I mean, I ended up going, so that was when I started to think maybe I should join the military, you know, try to get my life on track, because like we're up here like working this job, staying in a house that we, you know, with like our friend zone, and you know, things aren't like, we're not happy, you know, like obviously like she's just ignoring me. I started trying to return I thought I had one of those moments where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing what she's doing. So I kind of emotionally pulled back. You know, I stopped coming in there before I left work to go home. I stopped coming in there to say basically, "Hey, love you, see you at home." I just basically got up, and I would holler from the other side, "Hey guys, see you later, have a good one," you know, and stopped making the efforts I was making. And she noticed that, because I got a call from her mom. "Yeah, Lori says you've been very distant. Like, you stopped telling her you love her, and this and that." I'm like, "Naomi, like, I'm the only one trying in this marriage here." Like, she's not responding to it all. She's not showing up when I'm trying to plan something, you know, try to be there for her. I was like, so she wants me to do the effort, but she basically then blew me off. I was like, how fair is that? So I came back from that wedding, you know, it was like 3 or 4 days I was up there, you know, hanging out with him, and saw the wedding, talked to my uncle who was a lieutenant colonel in the Army, kind of was asking military questions like GI Bill and stuff. And he was definitely promoting, he's like, yeah, like, I mean, it would definitely be a good move for you, because, you know, you got the GI Bill benefits, good health care, blah, blah, blah. You know, they put you up in housing, you get a good job, you know. So when I came back, I hadn't fully decided yet at that point to leave. I was thinking about it because the military talk sounded good. I was like, yeah, that sounds like it might be a smart move to try to get, you know, on the right path. I came home and like nobody was home. And so I was like, you know, texted my wife, like, "Hey, where are you guys at? Like, you and Amber and Dan, and, you know, you guys are all gone. Like, you know, it's like late on a Sunday." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, they decided they were going to go on a trip to Great Falls, and I decided to go with them." So we're out here in Great Falls, you know, just, you know, we got a hotel and blah, 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 and we're just chilling, you know, hanging out, you know, and got partying and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, so you didn't want to go with me on a trip that we planned together for a year, but then you go on a trip with your friends or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. But then I was kind of stuck, you know. So I was talking to a friend last night who's kind of feels stuck in Tennessee right now, because he's like, yeah, I got all these medical bills I'm paying and this and that, blah blah blah. My parents are over one of the tropical islands, south of Florida probably, I think. But he was saying like, I thought about maybe go live with my parents or whatever. And I was like, well, why did you ask your parents if they'd assist you at all, like if they'd help you? Because I think sometimes your parents, they're gonna bend over backwards to help you out. He's like, yeah, maybe. Like up there in Montana, basically, I reached out to my dad when I found out what my wife was doing, and basically I was like, yeah, I gotta do something. So I was like, Dad, this is where I'm at. This is what's going on. I was like, I want to make a change, but I'm kind of stuck. Like, I don't have the money to go anywhere. I'm thousands of miles away from everybody I know. And, this is what's happening with Lori, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, well, would you be willing to, what about moving in with us? Get in shape for a few months, and we'll get you in touch with the recruiter. And, we work on basically getting in shape to get in the military. I was like, yeah, but I'm willing to, but how would I get out there? And he's like, I will send you a gas card, and this tells you about how far back it was. I'll send you MapQuest directions.
Oh, I remember that, right? Because I had to do that because I had to find a place in Louisiana, and you print it off the computer. And so I'm sitting there, I got little pieces of paper. Yeah. I'm sitting here looking through paper about, yeah. It took me a little bit. I'm like, oh, I actually remember doing that. Oh, man.
Yeah, because he was sending me, I think it was like a Texaco card or something, so he printed off directions from where I was to where he was, but he printed off directions that would have those gas stations along the route. It was it's probably 2,500, 3,000 miles away from where I was to where they lived in Iowa. And so he sent me this card. He's, I'm going to overnight you this gas card. I'm going to overnight you a MapQuest directions that'll have those gas stations along that route. That's why I paused saying this will tell you what it is, because MapQuest directions, because we all remember those.
Yeah.
But of course, he sent me cash or whatever, probably 500 in cash, and basically he set up hotels for 500 miles or whatever. So probably 3 hotel stays along the route where he reserved it in my name, but he paid for it with his credit card. Basically, just said get your dog, because of course I had a little dachshund that I had adopted for my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Been with me and my wife for a while, but he, as far as I was concerned, he was my dog. So basically, I took my dog, packed my stuff. She came home and basically was like, "What are you doing?" She saw me packing some boxes or whatever, and I was like, "I'm leaving. I'm going to move in with my parents. I'm going to get in shape, join the military." And she tried to be like, "No, you're not." I was like, "Watch me." I was like, "Lovely, this ain't working." You literally went on a trip with your friends instead of going with your husband to, family thing. I understand you think my family hates you, but something has changed, so I'm changing it. So basically, I ended up packing up and leaving. And funny thing was, I wasn't leaving thinking divorce though. I was leaving thinking, hey, go join the military, get into a good job, get housing, and then bring her up, and hopefully things will work out. But I didn't make it that far, because I got to my parents. I was there for a week, and basically I got a text message when I was a couple thousand miles away saying she wanted a divorce, that was basically emotionally abusive and all this BS. And I was like, really? I started looking at the definition online. What is emotional abuse? And everything that it listed were things that she did to me. And I was like, love, you're saying that I did this to you, but you were the one doing this to me. We're talking wanting to have intimate time, and I'm a pretty avid Christian. I have a cross around my neck at all times, but I don't try to force it on anybody. I'm not I need to believe me. That's just what I do. She would hold that against me. I would want to do intimate time with her or something. She's like, what do you think Jesus would think about that? I'm like, well, we're married, so I'm pretty sure Jesus is fine with it.
Yeah.
But,
it says that the bed is undefiled between a husband and wife, so.
Yep. So
it's funny because if you think the Bible actually tells you not to cut each other off. It says it's not good for the husband to withhold sex or the wife to withhold sex from each other. Because that's how adulteries and the resentment and everything. That's kind of was the problem with our marriage, man. Or Yeah, and so our situation is kind of weird because my wife now, so all last year, well, so she's been wanting to leave me for some time now. She just,
Hadn't said anything, whatever.
yeah, so she's been wanting to leave me for a couple of years. It's just she'd have to give me half, and that would be a lot of money, and she wasn't wanting to part with that amount of money. And plus, I think because of the relationship me and my daughter have, because I've been a stay-at-home dad, I think she thinks that our daughter would hate her for doing that. And then she finally started talking to a guy that it was one of actually our daughter's friend's dad. He was going through a divorce, and then they just started talking, and then I think she started to like him, and then that's where she was like, well, I'm gonna leave my husband and go be with this guy. And apparently the guy was dating another girl, etc. But so that didn't work out. But ever since I've changed, ever since I've been doing different than what I have been, she is now all of a sudden loving me to death again. Wants to stay married, you know, and so it's basically me whether I still want, like I wanted to stay married at one point, but because of everything that is what it is, I don't know. I'll have to. That's what. So we're working on. I'm basically working on to see if I still want to be married to her.
Yeah, and it's tough because like I kind of dealt with the similar situation when being over the road. My wife and I basically, she kind of has made the comment of like, I didn't sign, like when we got married, I told you like I signed on to have a partner, but then like when unemployed, like back in 2010, 11ish, that's when I got laid off from a security company, and then I was out of work for like a year before we moved to Philly. And I was still trying to get, it's one of those, I was applying at every place I could think of. I had multiple interviews at places, but wasn't getting hired. They're like, oh yeah, we'll call you. That usual, like, well, yeah, we'll be in touch. Okay. We have multiple interviews we got to do, multiple, we'll be in touch with them. All right. So that's why I kind of became a trucker, because I was like, well, I've always been great at long distance driving. I've always had that at the back of my mind, like I could be a trucker.
Yeah.
Because I could hit the road for 500, 600 miles and not really stop unless I'm like drinking too much water or whatever. But so I think I started like 2012 and like 2014ish. We were out in Philly, and she has this best friend that she still talks to today that we've kind of, because it's one of those where I could have demanded that he no longer be a part of her life at all, but she's like her only friend that she's had for a long time. Or, I mean, she's had other friends, but he's like the one they've been friends for longer than she and I have been married, but then they stopped talking for a little while we were married, and then like she and I were going through a rough time because she hated that I'd be home once a week or I'd be gone 2 weeks or something. He came back in the picture because he's always had he's married, and he's, it's not a happy marriage, like, they're not very active, so to speak. We're talking like years between actually doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And so he, of course, has had multiple occasions with other female friends that he's kind of had some side action, like little one-time incidents with people, not like actually dating them, but basically being able to get what he wanted, and then basically, oh yeah, I'm not leaving my wife, so
Yeah.
So he came back in the picture with her up in Philly, and like I realized all of a sudden she was talking to this guy or whatever. I was like, oh, cool, and that's why I'm deliberately not saying his name, But it's like, started talking to this guy. In fact, actually, the story that I'm gonna have released next Friday is technically it's inspired by the whole situation that happened with me, her, and him, you know. But I just changed names, obviously, and, you know, the story ends in a way that I kind of, technically, would kind of prefer that it would have gone in real life, but at the same time, for her to leave him completely, I didn't want it to be she's doing it because I told her to. So I've always been, I'm not going to tell you to kick him out of your life. Like, if you know, I would be happy if you did, but I know that you care about him as a friend. You guys talk a lot, whatever. I was like, but it needs to be just friendship. It can't be, because, you know, he's gotten too close where I've heard him call her sweetie or something like, hey, sweetie, I'll talk to you later. And I'm like, that's not cool. I know for her it's innocent now, but for him, I don't trust him, you know. But basically, he came back in her life, and they were talking, and I didn't know how serious it was for a while. I just knew that she would always talk to him, even when I was hanging out with her when I was home. And then, you know, wanting to make her happy because they live in Nashville, I was like, hey, let's take a trip to Nashville to go meet him and his wife. We'll stay there for a week, you know, have a nice family vacation, whatever. Came down, you know, had a nice vacation. You know, so that was kind of what, like, we came down and we were like, when we went back to Philly, I was like, I had a really good time in Nashville, and it was, you know, it's a great city. I could totally see us living there, you know. So if I'm still trucking, why don't we move to Nashville so that when I'm gone, you have a friend to hang out with? You know, you can be happier because you won't just be alone at home, you know. She's like, yeah, sounds great. Looking back now, I kind of regret making that choice. But, you know, they got a little bit too close, and they would hang out every week, you know, in his truck, or hang out alone in his apartment with his wife working, and basically, or go on walks. And like, I always was trying to tell myself, okay, they're just friends, they're just hanging out. And she always swore to me it was just friends. But then about 4 years ago, I kind of was on the family computer, and, you know, I was curious. I kind of searched his name up, you know, in the email account that was connected to our desktop that everybody had access to. It was connected to her email, apparently, and this guy's name came up on several emails back and forth. They were like, it was bad, man. There's like picture, like, cause this is back in the day when, like, you know, again, like, there were smartphones, and we had an iPad and stuff like that, so you could tell it was like sit from my iPad or blah blah blah, you know, at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But these emails were back and forth, and there were pictures of her. Not really naked, but there were pictures of her that were like half naked. Some of them were like, hey, after intimate time or sex with my husband, and I just look all satisfied and stuff, you know. And it's like, I'm reading these going, wow, okay, what the fuck? And, you know, and then, but all of that, yeah, that hurt, but then it was still like, you know, I kept scrolling through these different emails, and I came across one that from previous years, like 2014-ish, when we came down there like right at 2015, like the tail end of 2014. And there's one that was from a week prior in that year that basically said like, oh, what happened last week was amazing, you know. And she was wanting her emails to him were basically, we need to talk about this. Like, this is serious. Like, you know, and mentioned like, yeah, we're benefits. That's literally friends that have sex. Blah blah blah. And I'm sitting there going, oh fuck.
Damn.
And of course, that was when I was enjoying my Fireball and stuff, like on my days off. So like it was 3 or 4 in the morning. I was getting ready to go to bed. I was trying to come down from it, you know, drinking water after having like my beer and Fireball, and be like, I'm totally tipsy as fuck right now.
Mm-hmm.
Reading these emails and going, great, you know, because and then her and my daughter had gone to work. They worked till like 5 in the morning. So like, so they left. I went back downstairs and I literally sent the emails to myself. Kept copies of them, and then I texted her. Basically, I forwarded one of the emails to her, like kind of like instead of messaging her or calling her, I kind of just I'm gonna just forward this email to her and see if she notices at work.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, oh crap, like he knows. And next thing you know, she's calling me, and I'm on the phone trying to keep my anger under control. You know, like, hey love, she's like, what's up? I'm like, oh, nothing. Just sitting here looking at these emails from you and, you know, your friend over the past couple of years about, you know, all these different things, pictures that you sent him, blah, 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 and like, you know, what happened the previous week? Oh, I did such and such for him. You know, and it's like, and I'm like the way I am, which is why I'm like all these couple years later, and like they're still friends, but she's pulled back a lot from him because he's in Texas and with his wife, and still unhappy, of course, but unwilling to do anything about it. And she's up here with me, and like I'm kind of one of those, like I didn't, we worked it out for the most part, stuff, but there's still that. I'm always up front with her, like, look, I still struggle with that. Like, your friendship is part of why I still drink on my weekends. And I don't trust the guy. You guys are still friends, but, what you think? I know. But part of it is, like, you mentioned about, like, the your wife's, like, not wanting to lose half the money to you and stuff.
Yeah.
When I saw that email and I knew, when I knew what happened, and then I knew something happened, and then I talked to her on the phone. She's at work. She's like, please just don't go anywhere. Please just, I'll get off a couple hours. Please let's talk. And I'm like, love, because on the phone with her, I was like, love, I don't believe in second chances when it comes to infidelity. Like, if somebody steps out of a marriage, it's over. Like, for me, it's done. And I don't want to leave, but I want to leave because, like, you literally had an affair, had an emotional one for a while, then you had a physical one that you say it only happened once. But I'm like, yeah, but you guys hung out hundreds of times. So how do I know that what you're telling me is the truth? I just got to take your word for it and stuff. But I think she thought about leaving me for him. That's why she was trying to get him to basically make a decision. Like, you're unhappy. Like, you need to talk to your wife and blah, blah, blah. Like, we need to talk about this. And after it happened, part of the email was him telling her, hey, I think you need to work things out with Chris. Like I know he loves you and blah, blah, blah. And I argue, like, look, you don't fuck around with someone's wife and then tell her, oh, by the way, I think you should really work things out with, your guy. Because, that's like, I've had offers out here at truck stops, the quote-unquote, the lot lizards, where you have, like, most of them are ugly, but I had one occasion that I had this chick that walked up, talking like young, probably like mid-20s, blonde hair, very well, like, big chest, whatever, like, good curves, whatever. She literally approached me like $60 will do it all, and I just fought with the wife that day about sex stuff. And so I was tempted. I was like, I couldn't say no, but I literally said, I'd love to, but I held my hand up showing my ring finger. I was like, I'd love to, but I'm married. Oh, you're a good man. I was like, I'm trying to be. I'm trying. But, I was like, it's hard. And then so I was like, well, I got to go inside and get, like, cash out of the ATM, and I got to get some food. I'm, here to eat and grab a shower before going to pick up my load. And that was my way of kind of, like, getting out of that situation for a minute. And then texting friends, like, when I'm eating, going, so I have this really, really, really hot chick that's, like, literally offering to do everything. Just have to let her in the truck, whatever. But I'm like, thinking, like, I don't want to get STD, don't want to get robbed or killed, but, like, oh, my God, she's hot. Oh, fuck. And they're like, don't do it. Like, it's not worth it. Like, your whole marriage isn't worth a 5-minute, like, fleeing or whatever. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So I got done eating and went out to the parking lot, and I made sure she wasn't anywhere around. And I sprinted to my truck, got in, and I hauled ass out of that parking lot. And I got to, like, the exit. Happened to glance over to the other side of the lot. She saw me leaving and put up her hands in the air like, what the fuck do you do? I mouthed the word, sorry. but I told the wife about it because I felt guilty even though I didn't do anything about it, And so, like, I called her and, like, by the way, this just happened, but don't worry. Like, I was tempted because of our fight, but, I ran away. I didn't. She said, well, thank you. I appreciate you telling me, and I'm glad you ran away. And then all this stuff with her and her friend came to light, and I was like, she said that my incident was before that. I said, no. Like, that was yours was like a couple months after we moved down there. This was like way afterwards, and I ran away. Like, I said no, but you guys, well, the conversation just went too far, and it happened. It's called you both are fucking married to other people,
Yeah.
So, but I thought about leaving when I found out. It was like, I had my youngest, who I think it's like 13 or 14 at the time, upstairs asleep. My grandson was like 3, I think. He was upstairs asleep. So it was me home with the kid and the grandkid while my grandson's mom, my daughter, was at work with my wife. And so I was like, I don't even know where I'd go. Like, would I leave and go to Oklahoma to be with my parents? and I like my job, I like where we live. Like, how often would I see my kids and my grandkid? And like, there's a lot that I was like, man, I'm gonna lose a lot, and it's not fair because I didn't make this decision. And so, like, despite not believing in second chances when it comes to adultery and stuff, I was like, you know what? She begged me on the phone. I was like, love, I don't believe in second chances. Like, this hurts. Like, I knew there was stuff going on with the two of you. You swore to me there wasn't. And she said, it stopped after the first time, I swear. It doesn't make it any better.
No,
so,
yeah.
But, we stayed, and part of that was, like, I was like, I know the man usually gets the short end of the stick. Usually, like, when it goes to, like, court and you're trying to deal with, like, alimony and child support and whatever, and it's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to deal with all that and stuff. So I kind of hung out thinking, like, my youngest is actually going to be 18 in March. Like, she's in high school, or senior in high school now. So part of me, I kind of told myself, well, I'm gonna hang in here and see if we can make this work, even with them still being friends. And I'll see how I feel after she's 18. Because once she's 18, I don't have any kids below 18. I just have the grandkid, but he's not my financial responsibility. So, but there's been a few times where, because being a trucker, you're kind of out here alone with your thoughts a lot. Probably how you might be in the same boat when you're out walking by yourself. You might be thinking about stuff. And so I've, been upfront with her a couple times about, like, there's some weeks that I'm usually good. There's other weeks where, it just tears me to shreds. So then I'm like, hey, I'm really struggling with, your friend said such and such, and, I don't like that he's calling you that. Like, he has his wife that he calls by her name, and he calls you pet name. That's not cool. So, yeah, okay, I'm going to put some boundaries up, and I'm going to back away from him, whatever, because, like, yeah, he needs to work in his own life. Like, he needs to leave his wife if he's unhappy, he needs to, like, go. He's afraid to be single, though, because he's like, him and his wife, they codepend on each other, because neither of them makes enough to fully be, like, fully independent.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, here, I'm pretty much, it's one of those where you talk about high-value males, like, women looking for high-value men or whatever, and I'm like, I know my worth, I know what I bring to the table, and I know that, I look at it like, I'm not afraid of us splitting up, because I know that I would
be okay.
Yeah, so I hate to say it, because, like, I don't want to put her in that position either, but if we split up, my wife would be kind of fucked right now. Like, yeah, she might get into the court or probably order me to do whatever, but, like, I'm the one that takes care of everything. And if I don't take care of it, then it just probably, like, cars wouldn't get registered or whatever.
Yeah.
Bills wouldn't get paid or whatever. So it's like, I'm like, you know what? Like, he doesn't really compare to what I bring to the table, so I don't worry. Cause I was always like, you're welcome to go try it with him.
Yeah.
I ain't taking you back afterwards, but you're welcome to try it, see if he'll make you happier. But she I think she told me at one point that she realized, based on, like, his lack of action and all his talk, that basically that she had a lot better than she would if she went with him, because I was bending over backwards. When I came off the road, I guess that's what really showed her. When I started doing local, she started seeing that, like, how active I am with the kids and the grandkids. And she said, basically, I felt like I fell out of love with you for a while. But when you came off the road, you were local and you were home. I saw how active you were with our kids and with Alex, and I fell in love with you again because, like, that's what I want. I want a partner. And I'm like, well, I've always been a partner. I've never been away from home because I want to be away from you. I've been away from home because, I couldn't get a job anywhere else, and trucking is always hot. Like, there always need drivers. There's a shortage, so it's like it's an easy career to get into if you're able to do it. So
yeah.
our friend tried to tell her that I was away from home because I was afraid of her and I just liked being out here. I was like, fuck that. I was like, no. Like, you need to tell him to shut the fuck up. He doesn't know shit. I was like, I'm doing what I can to make sure that I provide for you and the kids and the grandkid, and I do whatever I can to make you happy. And so, she didn't realize when I was like, first couple of days out on the road, every time I would come home for a couple of days and then take off to go back out for 2 weeks, I was like, those first couple of days, I said, I was always depressed. She said, really? I'm like, yeah. I was like, to the point of tears, because I spent a couple of days at home, and then I'm going back on the road again. It was like, didn't want to, but didn't really feel like I had a choice. So it's all about that effort, like you're making the efforts, actually going above and beyond. I saw your wife tag you, whatever, and that about like, oh yeah, he went like this guy went out to the car multiple times, blah blah blah. But yeah, you can tell that you're doing stuff, So like,
oh yeah, I'm putting in all the work.
So I mean, hopefully things work out and stuff. And like, I think I know if we got divorced, I would not get remarried again because 20 years of my life into this marriage, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not starting over again. I'd probably date, hook up a little bit, but I'm not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't plan on a long-term relationship because it's like I felt like the 5 years with my ex when we got divorced. I literally told her, I feel like I wasted 5 years. She goes, that was a very hurtful thing to say. I was like, well, what do you expect me to say that I was committed to you for this time, all this 5 years, and you kind of just randomly decided you don't want to be with me anymore. So it's like I could have just because I fell out with my parents because of my ex-wife. Like I left school and moved out of state, down to Texas to be with her. And if that wasn't the case, I would have stayed in school, at the university, and probably would have, worked my way through graduation. And probably I was in like physical therapy was what I was going to school for. And so I would be a physical therapist right now. I don't know if I'd be with my wife and have my current kids, because everything happens for a reason. So it's like I look back and I don't regret what happened because it put me in other situations where I met, ended up going to the military, and then I was single when I was down at the tech school and met my wife. She was a civilian on base. And then she already had our older daughter. I came in a picture when she was 5, so it's like adopted her when she was 11, and we had our youngest, trying to give our older daughter a sibling. He didn't want her to be an older child. But like there was a guy or the friend I was talking to last night where we're kind of talking about like, hey, maybe you should ask your parents for help because, they might help you move out where they are. That might help, I was like, it might be worth it, He was like, well, he's has that mindset where like, I'm stuck, I'm probably not gonna, it's not gonna happen. And I basically told him, I was like, dude, one of the things I watched on one of these YouTube videos recently, kind of like a motivation, mindset type stuff, where it said basically, if there's things that you want to do, you want to accomplish, or something you want, but you're like, I can't do that, I don't know how to do it. I told him, I said, don't look at it and say, I can't do that. Look at that and say, I'm going to figure it out. I was like, so many things that I've accomplished that for a while, it might have taken years, but I looked at them as like, I really want this, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. And like, I got my truck, I got us moved up here, got us to do a really nice rental house that we actually we have the option that we can buy it. Actually, we've already been told by the property management, they're like, they've got a thing in their little back office on their or repair rent. Basically, there's a little savings portion that you can add money towards your down payment. And I'm like, cool, so we can actually buy this house if we want to. But better job. She was in a better job, but she's going to get into a better one than she was just in. I have no doubt about that. Now that she's got job history up here, So it's like, telling him, like, don't say you can't do it. Look at stuff and say, I'll figure it out, and then just brainstorm ideas. Like, talk to your parents, find out because he has a dog, too, that he doesn't know how he'd get her down to the island or whatever. And I'm like, well, I was like, it could happen, of course, if I'm in that position where I can actually assist him. I totally will. He hasn't asked me to do that, but I've already figured, like, he's a great friend. I'm like, hey, I know if I told him, he'd be like, no, bro. So that's why I don't say anything. I'm just like, if I randomly have a little, windfall of, like, hey, a little financial blessing that happens, all of a sudden I'll be like, hey, I'm going to help, these handful of friends that I have, help them out because they struggle and we've been good friends for a while. But I'm like, dude, if you want something to happen, just keep thinking about it and trying to figure it out. Because I said I didn't know how we were going to get up here to Missouri or how we're going to move in general. I didn't know where we were going to go. So we were trying to get out of our apartment in Nashville, and it's like for a while I was like, I felt stuck. Like I want to get out of here because our rent goes up every year, and we don't like the apartment was horrible. Like, it wasn't insulated, so wintertime sucks, summertime sucks. You know, the bill was outrageous, you know, because of having to heat or cool it. So it took a while, but then things fell into place, and I finally did it. You know, so it's like, anything we want to happen, we can make it happen. It's just a matter of, you know, trying to figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Mindset's a big thing, man. That's what has helped me basically get through my thing, is having a different mindset. Like, man, the story of everything that I'm actually making a book with it. I just got to figure out which way to go with it.
Have you already started writing it, or are you just kind of trying to
Yeah.
put
Yeah, I've already started writing it.
One of the one of the directions I'm trying to go with the Storytime Friday segment when that starts back up, and I've mentioned it a couple times on some of my Real Talk Tuesday random topic segments. As I've mentioned, you know, doing listener stories. Like, yeah, I'm writing stories myself to do on the podcast, but I've also put out there, like, if you're a creative writer and you have a story that you'd like to share, I was like, feel free to send it to me, and I give the email address, you know, blodgettshowpodcast @gmail. And I'm like, I'll read your story live on the show, and like, I'll even give credit, you know, like, have yourself listed as the author, you know, and the story's called such and such, written by so and so, and then advertise whatever they like. I was like, if you have a website or blah 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 that you wanna put out there, or you want them to contact you and you do such and such business, list that as well. I'll be like, you can reach them at this. They have this business. You can find their website at such and such, and then go over to their story. I haven't gotten any stories emailed to me, but I'm just recently, within the past couple weeks, kind of started.
Man, if you can, I'll tell you what, if you can, message me your email and stuff like what you just said, because I'm going to forget. But me and my buddy write stories. We do a lot of stuff, and then that'll give you something to read to help out. Because I've been thinking about writing stories too. Hell, what my buddy I'm talking about saying that apparently there's some places you can get paid for stories if you write them.
Oh yeah.
What's that pocket of? I forget what it is now.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking about like where it verbally like reads them to you, like audiobooks kind of.
I'm not
Pocket
sure. I forget what he said. Yeah, Pocket. I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah, because I have an account with them too. I don't write for them, but I've gone through and listened to a lot of got a couple of different stories I've listened to quite a bit. I have one that's like, man, I'm probably on episode like 700 and something, but it's weird because in the story the guy, it's like it completely changed. It went from like he has earlier in the story he has a girlfriend, and he's a rich guy that was a poor guy initially, and you know he's a martial artist and blah blah blah. But then later on, obviously he's still a martial artist, but it's like he's in a different universe. It's like the whole story's changed. I stopped listening because I kind of was like, what happened to all the other people in the story, and what happened to your girlfriend, and like what happened to the school that you were like a principal of. And now you're it's like years in the future, and you're this, you know, immortal, whatever. And it's like, even reading the comments from like the past years, it's like, yeah, it's like he combined two separate stories. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of getting that.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I'm a pretty good writer.
For like 3 episodes, and then you got to buy credits or whatever. So like, sometimes I'll buy credits and listen for a while, but it's like then you get through 3 or 4 episodes, it's like you're out of stars. Buy more stars to continue. I'm like, that sucks. Yeah, I would totally read any stories you guys want to send or whatever, and you know, obviously mention you and whatever if you have a website or whatever that you want people to. Actually, you could probably list your YouTube on there, and that way I could be like, reach him on YouTube, find his channel.
Yeah, I want to do some creepy pastas. I'd be pretty good at writing horror stories.
Some of the I love horror stories. You know, those are like, especially when I did some that were like, I call them freestyle. Like during weeks where I struggled to like try to get a story actually written, I would actually those weeks I was still trying to do the stories. So what I did is I randomly out here I just put the headset on, hit record, and I just came up with a story off the top of my head, random story. Which those are always more interactive or more like dramatic, because when you're telling a story, when you're not reading it, the shock and all that from the different characters it's a lot more dramatic, because like literally you're not like just reading off a page. You're like, so walked around, oh my god, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
always the horror stories are easiest because you can think about like ghosts, like walking through haunted forest or whatever, and hearing like some disembodied voice be like, "Get out, bullshit."
I'd make a great personal reality show because I can come out, like I say, all kinds of crazy stuff. My wife's always like, "Oh man, we should have recorded that." I'm like, I'm just being me. I'm good at I'm creative, so I'm good at making stuff and making up stuff and whatnot. And so
I'm my issue right now is like it's basically time, because like I need at least a couple hours to at least get a good story written, because usually like when I write it'll be like between 30 to 50 or so pages. And
yeah.
then to read it, it might take me 2.5 hours to actually read it out loud, recording it for the show. So it's like 34 hours off, and that makes things a little complicated. But so I kind of did the current story. I got it written like last week or so, and then this week I've done a few occasions where I've, like Sunday night when I was still off, I got like maybe an hour and a half recorded using my condenser mic and my MacBook. But then my computer died. I didn't realize how low the battery was. Like mid recording, all of a sudden, boom, powering down. Oh shit!
That sucks.
And MacBooks don't charge quick, so it's like you plug it in, it's not gonna boot up. So I did one or two just recording it with the phone with the truck off, so that way it'd be no background noise or whatever. In like an hour or like 30 or 40 minutes recording it like that. And then I had it because I had to kill some time the other night in St. Louis, because my buddy Dave with the Raw Chat, whatever, he told me that, hey, I'm going to be calling you tomorrow morning. Because I told him, let me know the night before or the day before, so that way I'll know, hey, don't rush to get back to Kansas City, so that I can work a little bit later, so that I can actually get on the phone with him. So he gave me a heads up, and then I was like, all right, cool. I'll hang out in St. Louis tonight for an hour or so before coming back, so that way I'm getting back 4:30-ish, 5:30 his time, and we can get on the phone and catch these other truckers and connect with them. But I thought I'm going to try something, because I'm trying to get in the groove, try to make sure these stories get it back going again, have it be a regular thing without like having a break or whatever.
Yeah.
So I shut the truck off, had everything quiet, and I just had the recording app on my phone. I was just, had the phone like 6 inches from my face to try not to be too close so you hear the pop or whatever. And I started reading, I had marked where I was with the story on the doc file. So went to that, and I just started reading, got like 30 or 40 minutes in before it was like 12:15, 12:20 or so, and I was like, all right, I gotta get loaded and get out of here. But then I listened to it when I got on the road to kind of, put it playing it on the Bluetooth on the speakers here in the truck to kind of hear how it sounded. So I was like, I wanted to see if you could hear, because there were, well, I'm trying to be quiet, with like the truck off, no background noise. There were trucks that would randomly drive by, and you hear the, but I didn't know if you could hear that on the recording. So I was like, I hope this works, because then I, have a method that I could use to get content created for the show. And when I listened to it, I didn't pick up the stuff, the trucks driving past it, in the background or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. I think that might work, because I figure getting the rest of that recorded, that'll be for next Friday. But then when I'm off on Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and get another story done. So that way I'm trying to work like a week ahead. Ideally, I want to take a trip down to my parents for a week, probably the next month, and spend that entire week, because they're retired. So like, my daughter's like, I want to go with you, but man, being at Grandma and Grandpa Blodgett's house, like, there's nothing to do, because they live in the country. So it's like, and they don't go to, so they don't go anywhere.
Best thing there.
Yeah, so she's like, I'll be bored. I'm like, Zoe, I'm looking forward to that, because I never have free time. So I'm looking forward to not having anything to do for a week, so I can literally get some writing done, get some recording done, and basically just like enjoy the downtime because I've been out here for like 7 months. I have not taken a break. I've literally been, working my shift every week, and I was like, I need a little bit of a breather coming up soon. but yeah, but totally read stories you sent, whatever,
Yeah, well, I'll talk to my buddy, see what he says, because he does a lot of writing. He's in all kinds of poetry writing. He's working on a book, and so hopefully he'll be able to get that out before too long.
One of the things I've said too is if anybody sends me a story and they want to actually read it themselves, and they record they record it and send it to me, I would upload that and have like, this is read by and written by so and so. Have it do that file if you wanted to read it, but I could do it too, so it's not a big deal either way.
Yeah, he don't.
Read it,
I know he don't like to read it. Yeah, I know he don't like reading it.
I got you. All right, well I could read them for him.
But yeah, I'll talk to him. Well, man, I hate to though, but
gotta go.
Getting on about 2 hours. Yeah, I gotta go.
I was looking at the time going, running a little bit later than I thought we were gonna go.
Gets a little one. Gotta get the little one ready for bed and stuff and whatnot.
Yep,
and I gotta go to sleep, man. Gotta try to get up at 6 in the morning.
I got you. So,
Excuse
before we
me.
go, can you give your YouTube channel to people so they know where to find you?
I haven't done much on it. I think once I start back doing a little bit more with it, I'll probably have a little bit more information because I'm gonna try to. Once I get to the point to where I'm doing more stuff, I'm gonna get all the other stuff. I have like Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff. I just gotta figure out what I'm doing. I've just been so busy here lately. I ain't been able to do much.
Did I connect with you on Instagram at all on the Blodgett Show podcast Instagram account or whatever, or did?
I'm not sure. I know I got one up, but I don't ever get on it.
Gotcha. Yeah, because we have I set an Instagram for us for the show over there. It's literally Blodgett Show podcast and stuff. So if you're on there, feel free to look it up.
All right, will do. I have to figure out all the stuff to do with it. Whew. I hate to learn all that social media stuff. I gotta figure out the X and all that stuff.
Oh yeah. I still call it Twitter X.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, it's been great talking to you. I wish we could have got Rico on here tonight, but he told me.
Yeah, me too.
He's like, oh yeah, I got my grandson. Like,
yeah, busy.
Yep.
Well, all right, buddy. I will holler at you later.
Sounds good, man. Catch you later. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Later.
Bye.